Productivity is defined as the efficient use of resources in the production of various goods and services. These resources can be defined as manpower, materials, methods and processes, machines, and of course, money. Productivity can be derived from the ratio of the production output to the input required to produce it. In other words, it's defined as the total output per one unit of a total input. In every business, the operations can be simplified into an IPO model or the input process output model. It is a functional graph that identifies the inputs, which are the resources, process, which are a set of interrelated activities that utilizes materials, manpower, methods, machine, and money, and transform them into outputs. For example, a gift wrapping business needs to have one employee and one wrapper to wrap an item and produce an output, which is a wrapped gift. Assuming that the established process of wrapping takes 2 minutes to complete, we can say that 1 unit of input is equal to 1 unit of output. If we want to double that output within 2 minutes, I need 2 employees and 2 wrappers. However, I can increase the output, thereby increasing the productivity by improving the process while using the same amount of resources. Process improvement is the proactive task of identifying, analyzing, and improving existing business processes to optimize outputs. There are different approaches in improving processes. One of the simplest yet most widely used is lean management. Lean management is a systematic identification and elimination of waste. It is an approach to running an organization that supports the concept of continuous improvement. Lean focuses at cutting fat from production activities. In a traditional setup, people do whatever they can to get results. Processes are inconsistent, problems are addressed through firefighting, and if a process is working, like they said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, nothing is done to improve it. In lean management, processes are standardized and further improved to consistently achieve the desired output in the most desirable quality. One of the key drivers in lean management is the reduction of waste, or anything that happens to a product that does not add value from the customer's perspective. Value-adding tasks are those which transform resources towards the final product or services. Think of these as the one that directly transforms spending into income, like your potatoes that you bought that are processed into french fries, or that online course that you took to increase your knowledge on finance and management, which you implemented in your small restaurant. Non-value adding tasks, on the other hand, are those which do not directly transform resources towards the final product or services. We call them wastes and use the acronym downtime. These are defects, overproduction, waiting, non-utilized talent, transportation, inventory, movement, and excess processing. One of the most easily recognizable wastes in lean management is the production of defects. What are these? Unnecessary efforts caused by rework, scrap, and incorrect information, missing or wrong supplies, error, and misinformation. Defects are often considered one of the most significant wastes because they can actually lead to the generation of additional wastes such as overproduction, transportation, and excess processing. Overproduction has, by far, the most negative impact on success. Overproduction occurs anytime more parts or products are produced than the customer is willing to purchase. Like the production of defects, overproduction can also lead to the generation of additional lean manufacturing waste such as waiting, inventory, and motion, consuming vast amounts of time and resources. In a non-manufacturing setup, these can also be identified as information overload and redundant reports. Waiting. Well, who really likes waiting? Waiting involves delays to process steps, often extending customer lead time. This may include waiting for authorization from a superior, even though the authorization is just a rubber stamp rather than a critical input. It can involve efficient changeovers, poor communication, large batch processing, and uneven workstation loading. Not fully utilizing people or talent represents the waste of talent present in many organizations. Underutilizing people's talents, skills, and knowledge such as unused resources and skills, underutilizing capabilities, wrong resource allocation, not listening to improvement suggestions. People may also have outside talents that aren't formally part of their assigned jobs, but they could be of use. The suggested solution for this is simple: ask people for their inputs and listen to their ideas. Now, transportation deals with the unnecessary movement of products. From a customer's perspective, transport adds no value to the product at all. In fact, transportation can sometimes even reduce value. The more times a product is transported, the more likely it is subject to mishandling and damage. Even cosmetic packaging damage may cause customers to reject product. If it looks bad on the outside, it might be bad inside. Inventory is considered a waste if it becomes non-moving and excessive. Examples of this are works in progress and parts, overstocked supplies, excessive multitasking, keeping several jobs open without completing any. This may not seem like a bad thing after all. A supplier never wants to be in the position of not being able to meet the customer's demand. However, the waste aspect of holding large amounts of inventory are many. For example, the product may not be what the customer ultimately wants. The product may go bad and become obsolete before the customer purchases it. The inventory may contain large blocks of non-conforming product that slip through quality control, and holding inventory costs money. Motion involves movement by people. Even small, non-value added motion can be very costly. Think of an extra twist of the wrist on every item many times of the day. These excessive motions may be identified as poor production layout, unnecessary actions, looking in several places to secure needed information. Excess processing are things not necessary or valued by the customer, like extra steps in a process, unnecessary customization, overshooting requirements, duplication and excess work, and entering the same data into more than one system. Organizations may want to provide the shiniest, most sparkly widget, but anything beyond a customer's specifications is non-value added, or MUDA. Now, what is MUDA? Read the case study below and find out how Toyota Production Systems were able to eliminate three key issues in the 1970s, which is what made them into one of the pioneers of lean management and waste reduction.